fight, and I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude.
You can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. has once again shaken the entire boxing world after calling out Terence Crawford almost immediately following Saul Alvarez's latest fight. And the moment those words landed, the sport instantly exploded with speculation. Known for his unmatched confidence, undefeated legacy, and ability to turn even a simple statement into global headlines, Mayweather didn't sound like someone joking around or chasing attention. He sounded like a man reminding the world that he still believes he belongs in the center of boxing's biggest conversations. Now fans and analysts are suddenly imagining the impossible. Mayweather stepping back into the ring against one of the most dangerous pound-for-pound fighters of this era. And because Crawford has built a reputation as a ruthless problem solver capable of adapting to almost anyone, the matchup immediately created a wave of excitement, debate, and tension across the sport. It feels like the kind of storyline boxing can never resist. One generation's unbeaten icon staring directly at the man many believe could dominate the next era.
Canelo this week actually said something interesting. He goes that Crawford's a better fighter than Mayweather. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like he is?
I think he's more all-rounded in some ways, but Mayweather was so good at certain things that made him impossible to beat. He really stuck to his niche of style, where Crawford kind of tries to fight the more honest, I guess, exciting, traditional way, being there, just moving out the way, landing the shot, where Mayweather would have you dancing around him and chasing him and falling short and falling in and countering the life out of you, and knew and understood 10-9 rounds better than anyone else. You only have to win 7-10-9 rounds clear, and you've won the fight as long as you don't get put down. And obviously he never really got put down. I know there's a few question marks, but for all intents and purposes never got put down, and he was the best, one of the best to ever do it. It's very hard to go a whole career undefeated.
Terence Crawford protected his unbeaten record in spectacular fashion by defeating Saul Alvarez by a unanimous decision, becoming the undisputed super middleweight champion in one of the biggest fights boxing had seen in years. The showdown took place at Allegiant Stadium on September 13, 2025, with massive expectations surrounding every second of the event. Crawford made the daring jump up 2 full weight classes for the challenge, but he entered the ring carrying the kind of confidence that made it feel like he truly believed the moment belonged to him. Even with Canelo's natural size, strength, and reputation for devastating power, Crawford never looked overwhelmed. Instead, he controlled the rhythm of the fight with sharp boxing, slick footwork, perfectly timed combinations, and the kind of calm intelligence that slowly took away Canelo's biggest advantages round after round.
Man, I loved it, man. I loved the fight, man. I loved the fight. I did not know how it was going to go. I didn't think the weight was going to be a problem for Terence Crawford. I'm on record saying I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but it stood to be seen. It needed to be seen, and I knew we would have known after the first, second, or third round. You feel what I'm saying? And when I seen how Canelo was respecting his jab and how Canelo was respecting his power from the very beginning, I knew how it was going to go. And I knew that Bud was only going to get stronger and get bolder and, start to wear him down, because Canelo is known to start to wear a little bit in the later round.
Everyone said that Crawford was not going to exchange tonight, and he traded with Canelo up close.
Man, Bud is the best, man. Bud is the best. I've been on wax and saying that, Bud. I've been on wax and saying that for a couple of years now. I bet against Bud on Spence. I bet against Bud on Porter. I didn't think that Bud was the best. I got to give it to him. Bud the best, right? He's hands down. He's the best. He's the best right now. I don't think nobody need to question him no more. I mean, you kind of got to give him his respect no matter what. You got to give him his respect. He just went up 2 weight classes where people said he couldn't do. He's doing everything that people say he can't do, and he is doing it with ease.
Right.
You got to respect that.
Break it down for me. How did he win that fight in the way he won it tonight?
He won the fight by gaining Canelo's respect. I think he was already in Canelo's head a little bit. I think that even though Canelo knew he was smaller and everything else, these fighters are still humans, and they hear what the people are saying. Canelo was I'm sorry, not Canelo. Crawford was undefeated. Look at what he did to the Spence. I mean, look at what he's doing to some of these people. So no matter what, I mean, you have to take that into consideration.
For that massive showdown, Floyd Mayweather Jr. put his money behind Terence Crawford because he genuinely trusted Crawford's skill set and believed he had what it took to defeat Saul Alvarez despite entering the fight as the underdog. While most people focused on Canelo's size and power advantage, Mayweather clearly saw something deeper in the matchup. He reportedly placed a $50,000 moneyline bet on Crawford at plus 148 odds, backing him to pull off the upset. And when Crawford went on to secure a unanimous decision victory, the wager paid off in a huge way, bringing back around $124,000 in total returns. The moment instantly caught attention across social media because it wasn't just about the money. It was another reminder of how highly Mayweather rates Crawford's boxing IQ and adaptability. Fans started flooding timelines after Floyd Money Mayweather shared the bet publicly, showing once again that even after retirement, he still trusts his understanding of boxing enough to put serious money behind it.
Now guys, Floyd Money Mayweather just shared on social media that he bet $50,000 on Crawford to win, and he won $75,000 back. So Crawford made Mayweather $74,000. Most people that I talked to were betting on Canelo. A few people bet on Crawford. How much money did you win on Crawford? $200 here, $200 there. But most people that I know bet on Canelo. And we'll hear from Canelo. We're going to hear from Crawford. And I'll keep you guys posted. But right now, Floyd Money Mayweather bet on Crawford and make some money. What do you want to see Crawford do next? What do you want to see Canelo do next? Let me know. Definitely interesting developments here tonight. When I watched the fight live, I thought Canelo won. I think Canelo won. I have to watch it again, but with no audio because I know the broadcasters were all against Canelo. They were all against him all week from the rivals. So I don't expect that.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. has also made his stance crystal clear in the pound-for-pound debate, openly declaring Terence Crawford the #1 fighter in the world today. After Crawford's masterful performance against Saul Alvarez, Mayweather praised not just the victory itself, but the complete package behind it: his discipline, ring IQ, adaptability, and ability to dominate across multiple weight divisions against elite competition. In Mayweather's eyes, pound-for-pound greatness has never been only about collecting belts or headlines. It's about consistently proving superiority against the best fighters available, regardless of circumstances or challenges. And he believes Crawford has done exactly that throughout his career. By defeating top champions, moving through divisions, and still protecting an undefeated record, Crawford has reached a point where many now see him as the standard every modern fighter is chasing.
In your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
We can put Tank up there in the top 10 in pound for pound. He has to be somewhere in pound for pound. And Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion. Something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terence Crawford as.
Terence Crawford has long admired Floyd Mayweather Jr. not just for what he accomplished inside the ring, but for the way he controlled his career, protected his legacy, and turned boxing greatness into something bigger than the sport itself. Over time, that respect slowly evolved into a genuine connection between the two champions. Crawford has spoken about receiving small pieces of advice and guidance from Mayweather through the years, and what makes it interesting is that he doesn't treat those conversations casually. He actually listens, studies, and applies the lessons. Their relationship feels deeper than simple admiration because both men understand the pressure that comes with chasing greatness while the entire boxing world watches every move. It's a bond built around ambition, legacy, discipline, and the shared mindset required to stay at the top when everybody else is trying to take your place.
But I know how you is. You be sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boss, keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting. Yeah. I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll be this.
But you capping, bro. I never thought like fantasy fight me versus Floyd, nah.
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll beat his ass. Never. That's some hating type shit to me.
Like plotting.
I ain't never been that type of person.
Recently, Saul Alvarez made a surprisingly honest admission during a press conference, saying, "I think Terence Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather Jr." And the comment instantly sent shockwaves through boxing because Canelo knows exactly what it feels like to share the ring with both levels of greatness. Back in 2013, a young and unbeaten Canelo suffered the first loss of his career against Mayweather when he was only 23 years old, but according to him, Crawford's performance carried a different level of difficulty altogether. Crawford looked masterful across the full 12 rounds, using superior hand speed, slick footwork, and almost surgical tactical precision to outbox Alvarez in one of the biggest fights of his career. What made the performance even more shocking was the fact that Crawford moved up 2 entire weight divisions for the challenge, yet still managed to neutralize Canelo's natural size and power through disciplined defense, sharp timing, and accurate counterattacks that constantly disrupted the rhythm of the fight.
TV right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Champ, first off, I want to thank you for the illustrious career that you have given us in the game. You've been a steadfast professional in the way that you conducted yourself, and I want to thank you on behalf of all of the boxing media.
Thank you, sir.
Number
It's my
two,
pleasure.
Champ, I wanted to ask you, this was a fight that we haven't seen from you before. We've never seen you have the sustained and prolonged frustration during the fight. Was there a point in time where you figured that this just wasn't going to be my night? And if you did, when did that happen?
No, I never thought that. I always try. All the rounds I try, but you need to accept it, right? Sometimes you cannot go, and I try all the rounds. I never think about that because, imagine, so I cannot think in that way. But I try my best tonight.
And lastly for me, Champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
After Saul Alvarez claimed that Terence Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather Jr., the reaction from Floyd's side came quickly. Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle, pushed back hard against the comparison and suggested Canelo's comments may have been more strategic than emotional. In Jeff's view, elevating Crawford's greatness also makes Canelo's own loss to him look more understandable and respectable in the eyes of fans. He also reminded people that when Canelo fought Mayweather back in 2013, Floyd was still operating at an elite level and nowhere near washed or past his prime like some critics try to claim today. And while Jeff acknowledged Crawford as an incredibly gifted fighter, he strongly rejected the idea that Crawford surpasses Floyd defensively. According to him, Crawford may be brilliant in many areas, but Mayweather's defensive mastery remains on a completely different level in boxing history.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
yeah, what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah,
to a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
how you at the top of your career in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Want
to make himself look like he did something.
Greg Hackett has now stepped into the heated debate surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford, making it clear that he still sees Mayweather as the superior fighter overall. Even after Crawford's stunning victory over Saul Alvarez, Hackett believes Floyd's defensive genius, ring intelligence, and ability to control fights at the highest level remain unmatched. He gives Crawford full credit for his skill, adaptability, and achievements, but argues that Mayweather's legacy was built over years of dominance, an undefeated record, and championship success across multiple divisions against elite opposition. In Hackett's eyes, that body of work still places Floyd above Crawford in the all-time conversation. And honestly, his comments reflect a debate that continues to divide the boxing world, because this argument is no longer just about talent alone. It's about legacy, influence, longevity, and deciding which fighter truly defines greatness for an entire era.
the Floyd Mayweather that Canelo Álvarez fought.
Yeah.
In the last version of Terence Crawford that we've seen in the ring.
Yeah.
Who's the better fighter, Jay?
Of course you got to give it to Floyd. Floyd at that time, Ben, what's up? Floyd at that time versus Canelo was in total confidence. His skill set, his IQ, you know what I'm saying? Everything he do, he was just a complete fighter that night. But I feel like was up against a lot because he was fighting a guy that we knew something about, but we ain't know too much about. People don't understand how much a fighter could be thrown off by what he don't know. And the reason it throws you off is because you're actually learning about the fighter while you're in there. That's what Bud went up against that night. That's why he didn't look so great.
Eddie Hearn has also pushed back against Saul Alvarez's claim that Terence Crawford is superior to Floyd Mayweather Jr. According to Hearn, Crawford's resume still doesn't fully compare to the depth and consistency of Mayweather's career. He argued that several of Crawford's biggest opponents were no longer in their absolute prime by the time he faced them, while Floyd spent years collecting victories against elite names across multiple eras and weight divisions. Hearn acknowledged that Crawford's recent win over Canelo was massive and impossible to ignore, but he still believes Mayweather's body of work carries a broader collection of top-tier victories against world-class competition. In his view, greatness at that level is measured not only by talent or a single defining performance, but by maintaining dominance against elite opposition over a long period of time, and that's where he feels Mayweather still separates himself from everyone else.
Canelo saying that Crawford's a better fighter than Mayweather. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. But I think Crawford's a phenomenal fighter. The thing is with Crawford, and I was kind of goading him on this, and it's not his fault. His resume's not that impressive. Like I said to him, tell me your best win ever. This is what I said to him. And you know what he said? Ricky Burns. Right? Now, Ricky Burns is a great fighter. It's my guy. He's a 3-division world champion. But you can't say that he is, you know, like one of the greats. He's one of the greats of Scottish boxing. But if you're talking about one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of all time, it's not Terence's fault that he hasn't been able to get those fights. But a lot of the guys that he's fought have been done. You know, even arguably Ricky Burns at the time. You know, I know he went on to win other world championships, but he was kind of on the slide at that time. Kell Brook, Amir Khan, you know, Gamboa. You know, all of these guys. Who else did he beat? Ndongo. Like Errol Spence, another example. Terence is brilliant, but he's never actually really had many notable victories. This would be it. I mean, this would be an incredible achievement. But I just feel like at the age that they're at, like, what is going to happen in this fight? And I just see I don't think Terence, because he shouldn't, is going to take that many chances in the fight. He needs to use his movement, use his footwork, which Canelo doesn't like, and win rounds. And Canelo doesn't really like to force a fight. When did you last see Canelo really trying to get a finish?
For a lot of people inside boxing, Floyd Mayweather Jr. will always remain the GOAT, even with all the recent hype surrounding Terence Crawford. They point to Floyd's immaculate undefeated record, unmatched ring IQ, defensive brilliance, and years of dominance across multiple weight classes as the standard almost nobody has truly been able to reach. And while many of those same voices still praise Crawford, especially after his incredible performance against Saul Alvarez, they argue that greatness at the highest level is never judged by one spectacular night alone. According to Martin, true greatness is built through longevity, consistency, flawless execution under pressure, and the ability to stay undefeated while carrying the weight of the sport on your shoulders year after year. In his view, Crawford absolutely belongs among boxing's elite, but Mayweather's legacy still exists in a completely different tier reserved for only the rarest fighters in history.
Where do you sit with this? Because two pound-for-pound greats of this era, Canelo, we see the resume, Crawford, you know, 2-time undisputed, potentially this weekend becomes 3. I've said in a few interviews, is it skills pay the bills, or does a good big man beat a good little man? How do you see it?
I feel like the skills pay the bills, you know, and I feel like Crawford's not that much littler than Canelo. You know, we've seen in the face-off that they're around the same size. If not, Crawford look a little bigger than. Yeah, for sure. So, you know, really just we're going to see tomorrow, you know, how it plays out. Whoever the better man is that night, I feel like will win. You know, I feel like it's even playing fields, and, you know, both guys coming ready, so we're just going to have to see.
If Terence does win this, a lot of people are saying that puts him as the greatest of all time. Now, I know it's hard because obviously you've been with Floyd, and a lot of people are saying Floyd is the greatest, but does that at least put him in that that conversation with your Floyd Mayweathers, your Manny Pacquiao's, your Sugar Ray Leonard's, all the greats of the past, and obviously Canelo obviously as well, because he'll be there. Does that put him there?
Yeah, for sure. You know, of course, nobody will ever. I feel like Floyd will always be the greatest of all time.
Meanwhile, Terence Crawford has addressed the constant comparisons to Floyd Mayweather Jr. by making his perspective very clear. Crawford believes every great fighter should be judged within the era they dominated, rather than forcing direct comparisons across different generations. In his eyes, he is the greatest fighter of his own time, just like Mayweather was during his reign, and he doesn't feel the need to compete with another legend's legacy to validate his own. The statement reflects the confidence Crawford has built through years of achievements, while also showing his determination to carve out a path that belongs uniquely to him instead of living in somebody else's shadow. And after Crawford's historic victory over Saul Alvarez, his longtime trainer Brian McIntyre, better known as Bomac, made it clear there would be no rush toward another fight. According to Bomac, Crawford just delivered one of the biggest performances of his career and deserves time to breathe before jumping straight back into another brutal camp. He stressed that after months of preparation and 12 exhausting rounds at the highest level, recovery has to become the priority. Instead of obsessing over future opponents immediately, Bomac believes Crawford should step away for a while, enjoy the accomplishment, recharge mentally and physically, and truly absorb what he just achieved before deciding what the next chapter of his legendary career will look like.
You know what? We're going to get back in the gym. We're going to get back in the gym, and we're going to assess that. And, you know, right now I just want him to go on vacation, have some fun, spend time with his family, man, because we trained for like probably a half a year for that fight. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of time spent away from home, a lot of time spent away from the family. So I just want him to just go get back home.
And what for you?
Yeah.
Damn. And for you. Hey, this is thing.
Appreciate you.
What you saying about training a half a year?
We trained almost a half a year for that fight. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it was so sharp. You know?
Thai boxer, a close ally of Terence Crawford, didn't hold back after the fight with Saul Alvarez, angrily claiming, "They tried to rob us." In his view, the official scorecards failed to truly capture how dominant Crawford was throughout the bout. He argued that too many rounds were either scored unfairly or judged far closer than they should have been, despite Crawford clearly controlling the tempo, dictating the action, and displaying superior boxing fundamentals from start to finish. According to him, Crawford consistently outworked Canelo, neutralized his biggest strengths, and looked like the sharper fighter over the course of the night. But even with the unanimous decision victory, Bernie felt the final margins on the cards still lacked justice and didn't fully reflect the reality inside the ring. His emotional reaction once again shows how judging controversies continue to fuel frustration in boxing, even during fights where the winner appears obvious to large sections of the sport.
This is the second time you destroy every myth. Can he take your punch? Is he strong? Is this guy too strong? Man, he did everything. He did everything. Didn't he? Stood and fought with him. See how he
was in the pocket. Was in the pocket.
Turned him. Did everything. Talking about he too strong. Turned him a couple times. Pushed him.
Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather Jr. brings a uniquely personal perspective to this entire conversation because he already shared the ring with Saul Alvarez back in 2013, when Canelo was still undefeated, young, and rapidly becoming boxing's next superstar. That victory became one of the defining moments of Mayweather's legendary career, as he completely dismantled the rising Mexican star with defensive brilliance, timing, composure, and the kind of ring IQ that made elite fighters look ordinary. Now, years later, Mayweather is watching Terence Crawford dominate that same opponent in dramatic fashion, and instead of staying silent, he's turning his attention directly toward Crawford himself. By calling him out, Mayweather isn't just creating headlines or stirring excitement across boxing. He's also sending a message that, even after retirement, he still sees himself as a man capable of standing in the ring with the very best fighters of any era.
No, he was in his prime, yeah.
And you're only 23.
20.
What was that like?
I trained so hard, and now obviously I try to beat him because beat him. If you beat him, you wanna be the best in the world at 23. So imagine that. But he was the better man that night. A lot of experience. He's a great fighter.
So now the boxing world is left with one massive question. Does Floyd Mayweather Jr. calling out Terence Crawford actually set the stage for one of the biggest fights in boxing history, or should money stay retired and allow Crawford to fully carry the torch into the next era? Because this isn't just a fantasy matchup anymore. It's a collision between two generations of greatness, two undefeated mindsets, and two fighters who believe they belong at the very top of boxing history. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let everyone know if you think this fight should really happen.